Have you ever promised yourself you'd change, only to end up making the exact same mistake again? Whether it's toxic relationships, bad habits, procrastination, or self-sabotage, repeating the same patterns isn't just lack of discipline, it's psychology. In this video, we'll explore why the brain gets trapped in familiar behaviors, how subconscious patterns control your decisions, and what it really takes to finally break the cycle. Today we will talk about why you keep repeating the same mistakes, so before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Hashtag 1. The hidden psychology behind repeated mistakes. One of the most frustrating human experiences is realizing you keep making the same mistakes even after promising yourself you would change. Whether it involves toxic relationships, procrastination, unhealthy habits, emotional reactions, poor decisions, or self-sabotage, repeated mistakes are rarely caused by simple laziness or lack of intelligence. Psychology shows that human behavior is deeply influenced by subconscious patterns, emotional conditioning, habits, and past experiences. Many people consciously want change while unconsciously repeating familiar behaviors automatically. The brain prefers familiarity because familiar patterns feel psychologically safer and require less mental energy. Even harmful behaviors can become emotionally comfortable simply because they are known and predictable. This is why people often return to situations they know are unhealthy. Repeating mistakes usually means there is an unrecognized psychological pattern operating beneath conscious awareness. Hashtag 2. The brain's addiction to familiar patterns. The human brain is designed to create efficiency through repetition. Whenever behaviors, thoughts, or emotional reactions happen repeatedly, the brain strengthens those neural pathways, making the behavior more automatic over time. This process is connected to neuroplasticity and habit formation. Psychology explains that repeated behaviors eventually require less conscious effort because the brain stores them as familiar routines. The problem is that the brain does not automatically distinguish between healthy and unhealthy patterns. It simply strengthens what is repeated most often. This means people can become psychologically attached to behaviors that harm them because those behaviors feel emotionally familiar. Someone raised around emotional chaos may unconsciously feel drawn to unstable relationships because calmness feels unfamiliar. A person who repeatedly procrastinates may continue avoiding responsibilities because temporary relief from stress reinforces the behavior. Hashtag 3. Emotional triggers and automatic reactions. Many repeated mistakes happen because people react emotionally instead of consciously. Human behavior is strongly influenced by emotional triggers connected to fear, insecurity, stress, loneliness, rejection, anger, or anxiety. When these emotions become activated, people often fall back into automatic coping behaviors learned over time. Psychology explains that emotional reactions are faster than logical thinking because the brain prioritizes survival and emotional protection. This is why someone trying to stop unhealthy habits may return to them during emotional stress. A person may overeat, isolate themselves, lash out emotionally, overspend, procrastinate, or return to toxic relationships because these behaviors temporarily reduce emotional discomfort. Unfortunately, temporary emotional relief often reinforces destructive cycles long term. Many individuals believe they simply lack discipline, but the deeper issue is often emotional regulation. Hashtag 4. The role of childhood conditioning and past experiences. A large percentage of repeated mistakes are connected to early conditioning and life experiences. Childhood experiences strongly shape beliefs, emotional responses, relationship patterns, and self-worth. Psychology shows that many adult behaviors are unconscious attempts to recreate familiar emotional environments learned early in life. For example, someone raised in emotionally unpredictable households may unconsciously associate love with instability, anxiety, or emotional inconsistency. As adults, they may repeatedly choose unhealthy partners because chaos feels emotionally familiar. Similarly, individuals constantly criticized growing up may develop subconscious beliefs that they are not capable, worthy, or deserving of success. These hidden beliefs influence decisions without conscious awareness. Repeated mistakes often reflect unresolved emotional patterns rather than lack of intelligence. Hashtag 5. Self-sabotage and the fear of change. Another hidden reason people repeat the same mistakes is fear of change and self-sabotage. Although many individuals say they want success, happiness, confidence, or healthier relationships, real change often creates emotional discomfort and uncertainty. Psychology explains that the brain prefers known discomfort over unknown possibility because uncertainty feels threatening. This can cause people to unconsciously sabotage opportunities that could improve their lives. Someone afraid of rejection may avoid relationships entirely. A person afraid of failure may procrastinate so they never fully test their potential. Others may destroy progress because success feels unfamiliar or emotionally unsafe. Self-sabotage often happens subconsciously because old beliefs and fears conflict with new goals. The mind may secretly believe, "I don't deserve happiness, I'll fail eventually, or things never work out for me." These subconscious beliefs create behaviors that reinforce the same painful outcomes repeatedly. Fear of change can quietly trap people inside cycles they consciously want to escape. #6. Why awareness alone is not enough. Many people assume that recognizing their mistakes should automatically stop them from happening again. However, psychology shows that awareness alone rarely creates lasting behavioral change. People often understand logically what they should do while emotionally continuing old patterns anyway. This happens because habits, emotional conditioning, and neural pathways are stronger than temporary motivation. Real change requires repetition, emotional regulation, and consistent behavioral practice. For example, someone trying to stop procrastinating cannot rely only on motivation because stress and avoidance patterns already exist neurologically. Similarly, someone trying to break toxic relationship cycles must develop healthier emotional boundaries and self-worth, not just intellectual understanding. #7. The comfort zone trap and fear of discomfort. Repeated mistakes often continue because people avoid discomfort. Growth, change, and self-improvement usually require emotional discomfort, uncertainty, effort, or vulnerability. The comfort zone, even when unhealthy, feels emotionally safer than unfamiliar change. Psychology explains that humans naturally avoid situations that trigger fear, anxiety, embarrassment, or emotional vulnerability. Unfortunately, avoiding discomfort often keeps destructive patterns alive. Someone may avoid difficult conversations, responsibilities, emotional healing, or healthy risks because temporary comfort feels easier. However, avoidance strengthens fear over time because the brain never learns that discomfort is survivable. Repeated mistakes continue because the person keeps choosing short-term emotional relief instead of long-term growth. #8. Breaking the cycle and creating lasting change. Breaking repeated mistakes begins with deep self-awareness, emotional honesty, and consistent action. People must stop seeing themselves as broken or hopeless and instead recognize that repeated patterns are learned behaviors that can be changed gradually. Psychology emphasizes that meaningful change happens when individuals identify emotional triggers. Journaling, therapy, mindfulness, self-reflection, emotional regulation, and habit-building strategies can help interrupt automatic patterns. It is also important to create environments that support growth instead of reinforcing old behaviors. Small, consistent actions are often more effective than dramatic temporary motivation. Over time, repeated healthy choices strengthen new neural pathways while weakening old patterns. Most importantly, lasting change happens when people stop merely trying to avoid mistakes and begin building a healthier identity. The goal is not perfection, but awareness, growth, and emotional responsibility. People repeat the same mistakes until they fully understand the emotional patterns, beliefs, and fears driving them, and once those hidden patterns are confronted consciously, real transformation finally becomes possible. If you liked this video and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up, leave a comment, and click the button to subscribe.